All right, guys, welcome to lesson one of solving two-step equations. This is going to be part one of this lesson. I split it into two lessons, okay? So here's lesson one. When we solve any equation, we are always trying to find the value or values of the variable that make the equation true. When we solve equations, we are literally undoing what has been done to the variable in reverse order. So let's review this idea. Exercise one. Consider the expression 3x plus 5 and related equation 3x plus 5 equals 38. Evaluate the expression 3x plus 5 for the value x equals 8. Show your substitution. Okay, so what they're wanting us to do in this case is take the expression 3x plus 5 and they want us to evaluate it for when x equals 5. So I'm going to rewrite in my parentheses pocket, I'm putting an 8. Whoops. And I am evaluating. Okay, so I'm using my order of operations, 3 times 8, 24. And then finally, 24 plus 5, 29. Okay, so the value of this expression, 3x plus 5, when x equals 8, is 29. Okay, let's look at B. So B says, list the operations that occur in the calculation in A, so this stuff, and the order that they occur in. Okay, so let's see. The operations. So the first operation that we did was multiplication. So that happened first. Okay. The second operation that we had was addition. And that happened second. Okay. All right. C. Is x equal 8 a solution to the equation 3x plus 5 equals 38? Now they want us to figure out whether x can be 8 in this equation. Well, in order to figure that out, we must substitute. So first, let me write it out. 3x plus 5 equals 38. Let's substitute in for that variable. 3x, not x, 8 plus 5. And we want to figure out, does this end up being 38? So again, if you notice, this is the exact one that we just did. 3 times 8 was 24. And 24 plus 5 gave you 29. So, does it equal 38? No. Okay. So these are not equal. And that is because when we substitute 8 for x, we get a value of 29, not 38. Okay. So this equation is not true for when x equals 8. Now it says solve the equation x plus 5 equals 38 by reversing the operations from B. So now let's go back to B. It says to reverse these operations. And what it means by that is we're looking for what the opposite operation is. So when we solve equations, it's kind of like a mystery solver or a detective solves a mystery, right? They look at the ending after this mystery has happened, and they try to unravel the pieces, all the facts, in order to get to the original what happened, right? So when we're solving equations, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take the equation, see how it was done, and then undo what happened to it so we can get the variable. I'm going to show you exactly how we're going to do that in a second. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to start with a table, and this table is called a do and undo table. Okay, what I mean by that is do means what happened in the equation, and undo means how would we undo that. Okay, so let's take a look at what happened in this equation. First thing that happened was multiplication, and we multiplied by 3. So look at the x. The first thing that happened to this x was it was multiplied by 3. So the first thing that happened, say mult as multiplied by 3. Okay. Then what happened was addition. So it was an addition of 5 or add 5. This is what happened originally, okay, in this descending order. Okay. Now, when we are solving this equation, we're going to go backwards. We're going to undo it. And the way that we're going to undo it is we are going to do the opposite of what happened in the do column. So the opposite of adding 5 is to subtract 5. So that would be our first step when solving this equation. The second thing that happened, or the second thing that we're going to undo is the first thing that happened, which was multiply by 3. So the opposite would be divide by 3. Okay, so now we have our steps. We know we're going to subtract by 5, and then we're going to divide by 3. So when I solve this equation, those are the 2 steps I'm going to have to do. That's why it's called the 2-step. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite my equation. First thing I'm going to do is make my line. This is like a balance beam because remember, equations are balanced. Equals means both sides are equal. All right, if you do something on one side, you have to do it to the other, or else the scales tip. We can't let the scales tip. So the first thing we're going to do is our subtract by 5. So I'm going to subtract 5, and if I do it to one side, I have to do it to the other. Notice how a positive 5 and negative 5, these cross out. All I have left is my 3x on this side. Remember, we always need our equal sign on the line. This line is just showing you where the equal signs go, but you have to put your equal sign. Okay, 38 minus 5 gives you 33. Okay, I've done my first step. My second step, we said, was divide by 3. And since I did it to one side, I have to do it to the other. Got my equal sign, and my answer is 11. Okay, we're going to get more in depth and more practice with this in the next part. Okay, the last thing I want to say is always think about what happened to the variable, okay, in the expression before you take steps to solve it. Undo each operation using its opposite, okay, in the opposite order, right? I will see you guys in part